All right, so here goes nothing. It's been a few days now since Donald Trump's been elected. And, of course, the feelings I have inside are not anything new whatsoever. At all. What's really going on is that I have an encouragement now to follow through with messages such as this, because the awareness that the public is on the same level. We're not all a bunch of LGBT crazy flag waving weirdos. We're actually American citizens that give a damn about our Constitution. And so, with all of this being said here, I'm going to try and sum it up as quick as I can, but laying down a theory here that explains how American innovation has been failing and what has been causing the failure. Number one, of course, we've got environmentalists, getting in the way, putting up roadblocks everywhere. We can't do this, we gotta do that, and this and that, and the next thing, and then these lobbyists coming in, forcing people to use this shit called DEF in their diesel engines, and all kinds of just crazy nonsense. For these corporations corporate grifters to line their pockets. But that's nothing in comparison to what's really been going on. And that is that the innovation of the standard American thinking inventor has been destroyed in the last 3 decades. I'd say the last 30 years have been devastated by technocrats, by Google, and anything that's on that same line. I'm not talking about Sony with their PlayStation or Nintendo or any of that shit. I'm talking about the designers behind social media, the people that engineer the internet. The internet has cursed the innovation of the American citizen. And so we've been kind of locked away. We've been put into a chamber. And so Donald Trump showed up 8 years ago. Keep in mind now, this is 8 years ago. So we're still 2 decades in to a techno lockdown with the things like the .com bubble and all this other garbage that has stymied the individual's ability to become a one-man producer. So Trump came in and he reinvigorated the people, right? In 2015, I should say. 2016, he got elected, and then finally, bam, 2017, he's the president. Well, the World Economic Forum couldn't have that. There's no fucking way. That was too much of a challenge in their new world order. They couldn't deal with something like an arrow in their side, like Donald Trump showing up and stealing their plans for Agenda 21, or what we're now looking at is Agenda 2030. Because Agenda 21 took a big fat shit. It never met its fucking globalist wish. So they tried to bounce it back 30 years. And now we're close. We're 6 years away. Fuck, less than that. 5 years away from 2030. And motherfuckers like Klaus Schwab and the Rothschilds and, there's a whole slew of families, rich-ass families like J.P. Morgan, and I don't know why I draw a blank immediately, but they're there. We all know what I'm talking about. The big names that are just pinning us down as humans on the planet. It doesn't matter if you're an American or a European or a Russian or an African or some guy in Iraq or China. They are putting us in economic prison through forms of taxation, number one. And if you're in a particular country that doesn't bother with taxation, well, then you're just a fucking slave some other way, getting paid a pittance of a wage. So it's all through what kind of currency we have, how we acquire it, and what's available to us with that currency that limits us. It chains us down. And this is intentional. This has all been extremely intentional. It's not like we're paying taxes to fucking build a better bridge or resurface our roads or help our infrastructure. That's a given. The rich motherfuckers under the sun that need people to go to work, they're going to make those roads operate no matter what because they need the people to do the job for them. They need it just as much as we think. They've tricked us into thinking that we need it. We need it for us so that we can get our paycheck, and then we can pay our bills and pay our rent and pay for our cell phones and pay for our entertainment and all this stuff. And we need this paycheck from these people. And of course, a portion of that paycheck, 40% of it needs to go to taxes to pay for all the stuff that the city needs or the state needs or the federal government needs. No, we've been robbed for roughly 100 years now. Coming up on 100 years. We've willingly been robbed because we were taught to. My actual point, though, of this message is American innovation. And when I mention innovation, we have been at a standstill for decades. And then Trump came in 2016 as a businessman, trying to be a politician, trying to reset the country. And he fell. It didn't work. He fell. He got stymied. He got fucked. He got fucked definitely by his opponents in the left. And he even got backstabbed by the people on the right because they weren't willing to work with him. He was too much of a threat to their system. He was a threat to their idea of a plan. So he got thrown out. He got shitted out, to be honest. They fucking stole 2020, and we can all see that now after the ridiculous difference in voter the voter roll from 2008, 2012, 2016, all the same numbers, pretty much. I mean, give or take a million or something. Then all of a sudden, 2020, 15 million more voters came out of the woodworks for Democrats magically. And now all of a sudden Kamala comes along and somehow or another it's back down to the exact same numbers it was always at. It was always around the, the high 60s, low 70 range. The concept that Biden pulled off 81 million votes is just the most insane lie. It's absolutely insane what they did to shit can Trump. And then knowing that he's going to come back in the office, they did everything they could to continue to shit stain his name. But what they didn't realize in doing so is that they helped him build a team. And it's not just a team of Republicans, it's a team of liberals, a team of Democrats, of course, a team of some Republicans, and a team ultimately of just honest to God Americans that give a shit about this country. And this is where the innovation has resurfaced. A new form of invention. And I'm going to start off. Well, I'm going to start off and I'm going to end with at the same time. So this doesn't last much longer. But ultimately, when Elon Musk purchased Tesla, oh my God, what am I saying? When he purchased Twitter, when Elon Musk threw down $44 billion to grab Twitter, he did that knowing goddamn well what he was doing. He knew he was getting ripped off, but he also knew another thing. He knew he was restoring the First Amendment. He was restoring the right of the people to speak and not be interfered by propaganda and bullshit for a system that is trying to be overrun by the World Economic Forum and the United Nations. Even Vladimir Putin has more respect for our First Amendment than these pieces of shit at the World Economic Forum. And that's a trippy thing to consider. So he made that purchase. And this was around, 2022, 21? I don't know. But in the last few years, a lot of information has come out about just how full of shit everything is. And a lot of eyeballs got real fucking big. They got real big. Because everyone saw it. They all fucking saw the truth. They saw that the government is not America's government anymore. We're a government that's owned and operated by some foreign entity. And they are not representatives of the people. So when it comes back to the biggest thing here, which is the innovation that is America's strong point, the thing that made us. We invented electricity. We invented the Industrial Revolution. We are the creators of making society radical and powerful. And above all, shareable. And if it wasn't for corporate capitalism to come along and take a big fat shit on what is real capitalism, real honest to God capitalism, not some corporate crony crap that really ultimately just converts our capitalism into a weird form of communism. We are so close to this country being stolen outright from under us by just New World Order lunatics that think that they own the earth and that they own our bodies. And they don't. And that's what America stands for, is freedom and personal, individual loyalty to our fellow man. And that's the new form of innovation that's been required for this country. A type of innovation that I never even thought growing up would have to come into existence. It was 20 years of being silenced, basically. And I mean, for fuck's sake, we know that there are vehicles that can run on all types of energy, and yet those guys end up dead. Well, guess what? We get the right people in the line of things, and the innovation in this country, the invention levels that are going to be welcomed rather than shut down because corporate interest is going to devastate people's desire to even try. That has to end. We and I was not born onto this planet to be a fucking prisoner to any other man. And I could go on forever here, but I'm just saying that the new form of innovation in this country is restoration. Restoration of our Constitution.